The next part we're going to create is this lifter arm. A little bit more sketching involved, but it's basic, very simple to create. We still have pin 2 here, so we simply close the pin 2 file, and we once again click New, choose the Inventor, Inch IPT, click on OK, and we begin. This time I'm going to use my line command, and I'm simply going to click once, and as I drag out you can see my line being created, and I'll make sure it's going perfectly straight, and I'm going to click in around this point here. Now we do have arc tools to create that feel or that arc right here, but I'm going to simply show you a quick little tool here. While in the line command, you notice my cursor has a yellow dot beside it. If I bring it to the start point, it turns gray. If I left click and hold, drag up and then to the right, it will automatically go into an arc command for me. Once I'm at the position of the arc that I want, I simply just release and I'm placed back in the line command so I can continue sketching. I'll come down and notice as I come near the end point of the first line, I automatically get tracking dots telling me I am right on the end point. I simply left click to complete that line command. And once again, if I move my cursor back to the end point of that newly created line, it turns gray. I left click and hold, drag down and to the left, and when I'm on the end point of any object, my dot turns from yellow to green, and I release. And I've created my basic profile. I am now going to simply place a couple circles. So I start the circle point circle command. Using the center of the arc, I click once, drag out a little bit, left click again to define the diameter of the circle. And I'm still in the circle command. Notice circle is still blue and highlighted. I simply make my way to the second center point of the lower arc. Single left click, move my mouse out to define. Notice I can even track to the size of the upper circle. I left click again to complete that. Now I'm going to add some dimensions. So the first dimension I'm going to add are the outer radiuses of the arc. So I single click on the dimension command, I select the arc, drag the dimension of the arc. The dimension should be 0.13. So I click on the dimension, I get my edit dimension dialog box, and I enter 0.13. Enter. Because these lines are drawn parallel and these endpoints, this will automatically also dimension to 0.13. I'm simply going to dimension this upper circle, click on the dimension I've placed, and that circle should be 0.13 diameter. And I'll also dimension the inner circle as well, or the lower circle, 0.13, and click on the green button. I'm now finished my sketching, and I simply go to my Finish Sketch button up along the top, single left click. I get my new 3D tools. I'm going to place this in isometric view once again by simply making my way to the view cube in the right hand corner and clicking the home icon. I'm going to use the extrude command, and I'm simply going to move my mouse, and you notice how I now need to define my profile. There are 3 defined closed profile, 3 loops. This outer loop, an inner loop, and another inner loop. But in this case, I want this outer loop, and I'm only going to extrude it 0.25 as per my working drawings. I simply click on OK, and I've created my lifter arm. Now I did make a mistake. I never defined the length of this arm. That's easily fixed. If we look at the model browser, you'll see that here's the extrusion. We have a little plus beside it. If we click the plus, we'll see that we can access the original sketch. If we were to double click on that sketch, we now have the original sketch and our sketch tools back. So I now can go in and modify by adding another dimension from the center of this circle to the center of this circle, and I can edit that length, and that needs to be 3.25. I'll scroll out so you can see that it did stretch. By clicking on the finished sketch, not only am I telling Inventor that I'm finished, but it will also make those changes to my 3D solid part. We need to save this lifter arm, so we simply say save, and we'll call it lifter arm. We are done.